What up, everybody? It's your boy K-Ray06 back here on K-RayTV, and we are here for another All-American Season 4 Episode 2 review. Y'all know how we do it on this channel. We're going to talk about the episode, giving our thoughts, and wrap that thing up with the good, the bad, and the disrespectfulness of it all. Like always, hit that like button as it helps YouTube sees interaction. They push that thing up to the moon, getting them comments so we can get the dialogue flowing. And if you're new here, you want to join the best squad on the net, that DreamSquad, as we are on our way to that 10K, then hit that subscribe button by showing some love, all right? And don't forget to join our Patreon if you want to get reactions and other videos that we're going to start uploading on there even more, all right? So you'll see that at the top and in the description box below. And with all that said, let's get into this review. Episode 2 title, I Ain't Going Out Like That. The show starts off with my boo Liv and Spencer having a make out sesh. I'm talking about cheeks being grabbed, pillows covering a pee and blood flow, all that jazz. I'm talking about somebody rocking, knocking your boots. Ding, 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 ding. I'm talking about rock the boat, change. But I'm talking about all that fused into one. We got all that. But I knew. Even though it was good to see, Liv with the cakes and Arch and all that, it was good to see, you know, but I knew with the show coming in so hot and Spencer constantly having the fear of Mama Grace pulling up, the scene was going to fizzle out. And the mention of going to the baker's house, because, you know, anything can go down over there. Like, Billy don't be watching their kids, so, you know what I'm saying, they moving people in, moving people out constantly, people just stroking up there. They don't care, because they don't be watching. But since they brought that up, we're forced to address the Billy and Spencer situation. And just like you guessed, that's going to be like the theme of this episode. They're going to talk about it a lot because Liv is not having it and she wants Spencer to talk to Billy. And as an extra incentive, she put the hot and heavy on my boy. I even had to look at her like, Olivia, Mashonda Baker, don't be putting those moves reserved for me on Spencer. First I was like, what am I watching here? See, CW? But I loved it because, you know, in this moment they were being kids, sneaking around, enjoying their company. You see them playful and with one another, and I was here for it. Next scene, we jump over to the hangout with Asher, Spencer, and Jordan. And Jordan is talking about a meme with JJ on the football field and whatnot. And they use this moment to educate us on where Asher is at currently. On the surface, you know, he's handling it well. You know, he's saying his large heart comes from genetics and there's no use of fighting something he can't change. But we know that's only scratching the surface, and we will definitely see the more depth in this situation. It's just how they like to set up characters in this episode. So the longer it goes, I know we're going to see the layers peel back. But before Spencer walks off, Jordan asks if they're okay because he hasn't been coming around the house. And Jordan even jokes about that dusty fight that, you know, he should have been dusted off from. But, you know, Spencer remarks that, you know, they're good and that he can only fight one Baker man at the time. Because, you know, Billy beefing with a kid and whatnot. Jordan, you know, he says, just give Billy some time. And just in that short time, like, I was already over it. Like, let's just jump to the scene when they talking because this has waned on my spirit long enough. And speaking of which, we jump over to the Bakers and Billy and Olivia have a talk. Liv brings up Spencer not coming around because he thinks that Billy doesn't want him there. And Billy doesn't even acknowledge that, but instead responds instead of listening. And he retorts that Spencer doesn't give a dang what Billy wants. And then brings up Spencer signing to Toledo. Dusty. Then tells Olivia, when she joked about going to the same college, you know, ride or die. Last episode, Billy said some truth, but how he delivered it was the Same thing here. He says, Olivia is not planning her future around some boy. Not Spencer James. Not the Spencer James who mama you clap cheeks with, who you knock boots with and snatch wigs. Not the Spencer James, the one you scouted, recruited, and brought him in to live with your family to help you win your first championship after God know how long you've been on a losing streak, just some boy. Billy has some nerve. I'm gonna have to move on because it's too early to get in my bag. It's too early, so we're gonna move on. The All-American logo comes onto the screen, and now we're into the way of the episode. Layla comes downstairs chanting, "Please don't remember my birthday. Please don't remember my birthday," which screams they will remember your birthday, which they do as they try to surprise her with a birthday breakfast. She's not really there for it. She doesn't want this day to be made bigger than what it really is, which is alarming to the bakers, but they don't see the hint, and you can already see that, okay, this is going to be Layla's storyline in this episode. We hop over to Patience and fully recover Coop, and Patience is being ignored as Coop is giraffe necking all in her phone. Like, even when Patience texts her, asking how's her breakfast, she responds in text rather than open her mouth with an F. And I can't stand that in a real life, let alone in a TV show. So I know Patience was getting upset. Like, you rather hit me up on social media than to talk to me. Like, that's past ignorant, Coop. Same face. But I digress. Patience feeling left out of everything from Coop because she didn't even know Coop was booking a studio session. And when asked about her health and advice of her doctor, Coop like tightens up, like and kind of like, you know, embraces and tell her like, aren't you gonna be late for school or something? Like in that moment, I wish Patience like snatched her up when that 1/2-inch braid she was rocking, but instead she was like, yeah, I am. And then she gets up and leaves and gives her a kiss. And just like Billy, I don't know if I can deal with another season of Coop being ignorant. Like, my spirit does not knoweth, y'all. It does not knoweth. Jumping to the next thing, we go to Beverly. Yes, Beverly. The school, not the team, because, you know, these are kids. These are kids, and I think they remembered, you know, they got school. So the writer surprised us and said, hey, let's go there. Shocking, right? Shocking. Layla opens her locker to get another B-Day surprise from JJ. And then as she turns around, you see Liv, Jordan, Asher, and I missed the whole episode myself, Simone. So we're not going to even address her missing a whole episode. But, you know, they brought her back in this episode. And again, Layla is not here for it. But they not hearing her. She do not want to party. And you can see that the boys are just like, yo, we're going to throw a party. But before I can actually get into that scene and sink my teeth in it, DreamSquad, come closer, because y'all got to hear this. Y'all got to feel me on this one. Come closer. Close enough? All right. Here comes Spencer wearing a collection from Pride Rock itself. The Circle of Life edition. And I was done. I was like, who cleared this in the wardrobe department? Because please take a sabbatical. Please take a sabbatical because it was not it. That was what wasn't it. From the highest order, it was not it. And to make matters worse, just like when Coop was dogging Spencer last season, Billy had a perfect imitation as he did a drive-by down the hallway with a stare. Like, this man is in full beef with a child. I can't make this up. In a full legit beef when you doing pull-up drive-bys, me-mugging people with a 17 or 18-year-old. Like, come on. Come on. So with Spencer seeing that, you know, he is now determined to talk to Billy. And I'm like, yeah, you got to talk to him because you can't have him mean mugging you through the hallways. Like, I don't care who he is to you. Boundaries need to be set. So hopping over to the next scene, Asher walks in, you know, to see his real mama, Coach Montez. And he's still, you know, putting on that persona of, I'm okay. But she sees right through that and gives him a word of encouragement saying that they wouldn't have won without his plays. I mean, we can air quote the one, but, you know, she still gives him that encouragement and says, you know, he should get one more recommendation from a leading heart specialist. And in that scene, you can see Asher get a glimmer in his eye. And I really do hope that this doesn't come to bite him in the ass because He doesn't deserve that, man. I know he's been dusty, crusty, and ashy like the other seasons, but I don't think he deserves that even with all that. So I hope this turns around for the better for him. Next, we get a short lunch date with Layla and her dad, and her dad brings her a gift and a little tiara, and she ain't here for it. And for some reason, no one is listening to her when she says like she doesn't want to celebrate. So as I said earlier, this is a running theme, so you can see how this is gonna trickle into the episode. So I want to see if it's gonna like turn out bad or not. But the next scene, we hop over to Patient's house, and some dude just walked in. I thought it was her brother, but it turns out that it is her dad. But he came in to give his daughter some advice on Tamia Cooper and how trouble seems to follow her. Same thing Patient said last week. And it still holds truth today. So she gave her a little nugget to chew on, and you can tell that this is going to be a trying season for those two because the writing is on the wall. So I'm going to see how that's going to go to see if Patient going to leave her ignorant or not, you know? Because I bounce. Next, we get Asher and his mom as they discuss the possibility of playing football again, and she isn't too keen on the idea, knowing that his new mama, Coach Montez, suggested to get another look. And I don't think that she was being malice in that moment. I think she was coming from a place of not wanting him to get his hopes up, only to get crushed again, which will make it even worse. So I wasn't really mad at her here. Next, we get Simba himself as he makes his way to Baker House to talk to Billy, and Billy is running for the conversation. And he says, you know, he was Spencer's coach, and now that, you know, the season is over, he is not. And Spencer quickly lets him know that he was always more than a coach. And I swear, to drag this out longer, they had to have Liv, who been begging Spencer to talk to her dad, come down the stairs to interrupt the talk that she been campaigning for. Like, bruh. Like, Billy was already showing signs of his walls coming down from that one combat, and Mashonda had to march her fine behind down them stairs. Man, I shaketh my head at thee. Next scene, we get a brief moment at a party store with Spencer and Liv as they're returning some like party makings back for Layla's party, as they joke about this piñata that looks like Layla, and she brings up Billy, and Spencer doesn't want to talk about it and cuts her off saying, you know, let it be. Just let it go. You know, I wish they let that scene be or let it go, because you just cut off the combo that they were having. So now you trying to campaign for office again? Like, Mashonda. Next scene. Asher's mom's, with an S, comes to confront his coach mama, and I was right. She is concerned about Asher. However, now the claws are out, and they go at each other, both taking shots. And I definitely see this as an ongoing occurrence for a while, because Asher will continue to listen to Montez, and his other mama will not like that. And they're both coming from a protective space, so that's gonna get a little messy before it get good. But I kind of like that moment. I was like, go ahead, Montez, hold your ground. We jump back over to the Bakers, and Liv was frustrated that Spencer won't come in, and Billy is being ignorant. And she looks to Jordan for that Layla level intellect and wisdom, but, you know, he only kids and jokes with her. So, you know, she shuts off his whack box, and she gets frustrated, like, why does he treat Spencer to a certain standard? Like, it was technically Jordan who came to Spencer to be trained, so why is he not treating Jordan the same? It's like he respects him or holds him up to a higher standard, which sparks an idea in Jordan, because he like, you know what? I think you're right. Next, we get Coop in the studio, and she is struggling, giving Hakeem all over again. And I expected this to happen, so I want to see how the story is going to unfold and see if they're going to make this as predictable as I think. Next scene is actually what I was waiting for. Jordan confronts Billy and asking him why isn't he mad at him. And Billy tried to play it off saying that he is, but Jordan is his son and Spencer isn't. And Jordan hit back hard. He was like, since when? Like, when was this ever a thing? Like, let me know. I must have missed it. Like, he laid out the history with the full receipts, like how much Billy has and continues to do for Spencer, and states the real reason that he is mad at Spencer is because he expects more of him. and respects him more. And when it comes to Jordan, he only expects him to make mistakes. The respect level is different, and he is right. No lies detected from Lil Baker. We jump back over to Patience, and we get a continued conversation with Coop closing Patient out. Patient believes that Coop doesn't care and that she doesn't value her input, and that Coop's decisions affect them both. And this child, Tamia Cooper, opened her mouth with an F and said, "How does this affect you? I'm the one that got shot." And boy, the acting got turned up after there, because that line hurt Patience to her soul. Hell, it hurted me. And Patience let her know, like, yo, we are together, and whatever happens to you happens to me. And before she can call off the relationship, Coop opens up and let her know that she wasn't cleared by the doctor. She's struggling to breathe and may not ever get back to a full lung capacity or even rap the same, which is why she's been trying so hard to prove the diagnosis wrong. And, that hurts Patience, and she embraces her, and, they hug and whatnot. Honestly, in that little short moment, I was like, I feel like the only reason you said that is because she was going to break up with you. I think if she would have walked off you, she wouldn't have said anything. So for you to say that line, I was like, bruh, Patient, just square up with her. Just square up with her, because, I said, somebody needs to. Getting shot obviously didn't cure her. So maybe some hands, too, to add to it to cure, because it just don't make no sense. It don't make no sense. But anyway, let me stop. Next scene. We jump back over to the Bakers as they're all preparing for Layla's surprise party. And we see that Asher gets a phone call, and he takes off. And I'm hoping that phone call is something good. Maybe not a recovery, but something good, like, hey, it's possible. Because, he don't deserve that, man. We move on to Spencer and Liv, as Liv notes that she thought they returned that Layla pinata, and as they joke, in walks Dusty D and ruins the mood. But Liv stops them and make Billy's come back to, try to work it out. She tired of the nonsense. She tired of being in the middle. She like, nah, fix it. And Billy tries to run away again, but Spencer said, let me get something off my chest. And off his chest is what he got off. This man said, yeah, it's true that he played hero, but why is it that Jordan came to him versus his dad? Since he the parent and all. Like, why did he come to me and not you? And then left and let him marinate with it. Let it sizzle on his mind. Like, he didn't drop the mic. He put the mic in the chest like, ooh, and just walked off. Like, that's how you hand out truth, with receipts and everything. Like, bravo. Bravo. I appreciate that moment. And to break up the mood, Layla comes home to a party she didn't want, and a dusty stripper. Like, first of all, y'all letting strippers in y'all house? I tell you, they can do anything at the Bakers. And then the stripper wasn't even her type. Like, they played her all the way around with that one. All the way. Next, we move on to Patience and Spencer. And he senses something going on between the two, Patience and Coop. And Patience lets him know that she almost broke up with Coop. And it took for her doing that for Coop to come clean and stop lying. And then when asked, she told Spencer about Coop's lung issue, and I wish she didn't, to be honest. Like, she should have given Coop the right to break the news on her time. Like, that's her right-hand man, and sometimes you need more time to externalize something you can barely internalize yourself. However, I do get where Patience was coming from. Let's see if Tamia sees it that way or not, because she kind of took the control out of her hand, just telling her business. And I don't get why. Like, I know Spencer is a good ear, but everybody ain't got to be running to Spencer just spilling the tea. Then we get Simone, who greets Layla. And she made it awkward because once she scared her and then hugged her and asked her like how she was. But I'm sitting there like, is we gonna ever address, your man's and his potential new boo? Like, nah, not right now. Not on the 18th. Okay, we can wait. Next thing, we still get Billy acting like a child in the situation, gonna walk between Jordan and Spencer just to grab something he didn't want, just to leave his bad energy behind. Like, bruh, grow up and act your hairline, please. Jordan let Spencer know that he did go off on Billy today, but that does the opposite of what Jordan wanted. And Spencer lets him know that at the end of the day, Billy is still his dad and he needs to respect that. And that if the roles were reversed and the shoe was on the other foot, Jordan would have said the same thing to him. He would have given him the same advice. So I appreciate that because that's why I rock with Spencer. Like, cause I don't know if I could have been that humble in that moment. Because he could have easily been like, yeah, dragon. What else you say? What else? But he was like, nah, that's still your pops. Respect that. So I'm like, yo, that's dope. Because he like, yo, value him. Because, you know, he lost his pop. He didn't get those chances. So he's like, bro, appreciate it. So I appreciated that. And while he was doing that, Billy was still in the corner scowling and whatever, and our newly traded member to the roster had to speak life into that spit shine of his. And Laura lets Billy know that Jordan went to Spencer because 1, Billy would have said no, which is true. 2, he worships his dad, and it's hard to disappoint the people you worship or you hold on a pedestal. And 3, Billy does respect Spencer more. And lastly, he was only following in the footsteps of his best friend, Spencer, and his father, as they both did the same thing by coming back early to play football. Billy messed up his knee, tried to get back out there. Spencer got shot, he got back out there. So Jordan was just imitating the blueprint that was laid out for him. So you can't be mad at him for that. Well done, Laura. Well done. That's why you was traded. We jump over to the next scene and we finally get Layla and Spencer. And this is what I've been waiting for. I've been waiting on this. Because Layla's in a different place and space. And now I believe she is ready to talk to and or listen to Spencer. And plus, Spencer does know how to talk to her and cater to her needs. And he did just that. He got her to laugh. He got her to breathe. He got her to feel like she's not under a microscope. And gave her a way out to finally get time for herself. Like, he said he hates surprises and he usually finds a place to hide. And that spoke volumes to me because in a way, in that small moment, Layla and Spencer were hiding together. And now that she was gone, he was like out in the open again. And I felt for him in that scene. And I actually wish Coop was there for him. However, Coop was providing her services elsewhere to Asher. And like we predicted, Asher's heart problem came from steroid usage. And that was what the call was about. And they let him know that, yes, because you took steroids, you jacked up your heart. It's not genetic. It's because of you. And I'm glad they went that route because it's showing you, like, that's the drawback from the benefits of steroid use. Like, you're paying the cost for your decision. You paid that admission. And because you willingly did that, now you gotta walk that line. And while those two, was consoling each other, even over grievances, it can be healthy. It can be a healthy start towards progress or regression. We'll see which one, because I feel like Coop is going to regress and Asher might progress. We jump upstairs to see Layla as she finally utters the truth, her truth. She says she doesn't feel heard. And I agree with that. But when she says she needs to be more direct and brutally honest, I was looking at like, do you not remember last season? Did that slip your mind? You're like, cause girl, Miss Keaton. Cause you was trying to cut off heads. But this was a good girl moment with Liv and Layla because they needed it. And since we have to conform to that friendship, let's see it build and grow in a positive way, We jump back down to Patience and Coop, and Coop wants to throw it all away. Like, she doesn't want to hope, and now she is being that type of person. Like, she jumped from one extreme to the next. Like, Hulk jumped just bow. This is going to cause even more problems between those two. Like I said, I feel like Coop was going to regress, and she's already doing that. Like, the ignorant is just transparent, just transformed. She's just a walking embodiment of it. After everyone left, Layla finally got to breathe, and then her dad comes. And she has to let him know, she's not a kid anymore, nor does she have a childhood that she wanted. So being called princess anymore, you got to stop with that. And for a second, I was wondering, like, will her dad start to get mad? But yet, her dad took notice and didn't get mad and then let her know that her mom didn't like birthdays either and that she really only liked when those three was hanging out together. So he asked for a do-over to go do something fun, anything she liked, and Layla decided to go to a gun range, one of my favorite spots, and her dad supported her. Great job. Great job. Then we got a montage showing everyone going through it. Asher sitting in the locker room crying, Coop being Coop, Patience watching old videos of her and Coop performing, Preach being called by Coop being Coop. And then we end off with Billy and Jordan actually having a father and son moment, with Billy lying, talking about he don't respect no one more than Jordan and Olivia. And I'm like, boy, stop with the cap. Stop. But Jordan let his dad know that he didn't go to him because last time he did, he covered for him and almost lost his job, when he switched to PL. This time he wanted to make the mistake on his own. He wanted to own his own decision, like make a decision and live by it. And I respect him for that. Of course, Billy dodged the question of, making up with Spencer. And I was like, good, because I'm over it, man. Like, if you're going to be ignorant, I'll just wait till Grace gather you up in the next episode. Speaking of which, Spencer is in the living room spending time with Liv, and as they're about to watch movies, and, he's like, hey, forget Billy, forget all that. I'm here with you. It's just us. And, they end up sharing a kiss as Billy watched, and, he gets up, and then the episode ends. And that was a good episode. It got better the second time I watched it because, you got to see those moments of them playing together and being kids and all the little interactions. So I liked it. So it was much better than episode 1. With that said, let's hop into the good, the bad, and the downright disrespectful. The good. Laura, for proving why she is the baker of choice. She continues to see things for what they are and presents it in a way that nourishes, and I love her for that. Spencer, for not only trying to be there for Liv and Layla and Coop and Patience, and don't forget Jordan, while wanting to escape, he still provided the balance that everyone needed, and I appreciate it for him. Also, Layla's daddy for hearing her out again and supporting her. Liv for supporting her, and Patience for that acting. Like, they all killed it, so let's give a bravo for them. The bad. The way the writers take moments and drag them on for the sake of the episode. Like when Coop and Spencer talked last season and Patience interrupted, same thing reused with Spencer and Billy. I'm sure they could have gotten to a much better space if not derailed by story. However, with the moments provided to give other actors a platform to shine, I'm not going to put it in the next section. The downright disrespectful Miss Not My Style herself, Tamia Cooper. She is the embodiment of ignorance. Like, she goes from one end of the spectrum to the next. Like, never slowing down to think, she just acts. Continuing bringing pain around her, to everyone around her. And how much more does she have to lose before she learns? And speaking of losing, Dusty D, Billy Baker himself. You about to become MVP of the DDL, huh? This guy went about and acted like a child the entire episode. Mean mugging a child at school, making them feel unwelcome in a home you brought them in, and trying to interfere in a relationship between him and your daughter. Like, your daughter finally is happy, and you want to risk that happiness again? Like, I can't wait for Mama Grace to gather you the next episode because you've been past the line. You've been past it. After the infamous thunderclap, like, Billy has been on one, and he needs to get his rotor cut off. So, I can't wait for the next episode, because I know Mama Grace gonna hem him up. She gonna gather him, hem him up, and hang him out the dry, so I can't wait, alright? But that was the episode recap review. I hope you appreciate it. Can't wait to see y'all in the comment. Sorry for dropping it a little late. I was under the weather, and I tried to get up and edit, but it was rough. So I did it today, so I hope you appreciate it. We're getting the reactions rolling, so you will see those soon. And I'm going to see y'all in the next episode. All right, like, comment, subscribe, and share, and we out. Peace.